Welcome to NCRT Made Easy. In the last video, we studied about culture and its influence on intelligence. And these are the topics that we finished so far. Now we'll be going to EQ in this video, as well as we're going to try to go to special abilities. So let's begin. This was the topic that we did in the last video, and now we're starting with this topic, EQ. If you remember, IQ was intelligence quotient. Similarly, EQ is emotional quotient. This one broadens the understanding of intelligence because it says that intelligence is not intellectual domain. It says that intelligence includes emotion. So, emotional intelligence, let's define it now. Emotional intelligence, or EQ. Emotional intelligence is a set of skills that underlie accurate appraisal. Appraisal means emotion that you show to show something approved or such, Then expression and regulation of emotion. So what we know is emotional intelligence is a set of skills that underlie accurate appraisal, accurate reaction or action for a particular situation, accurate appraisal, expression, and regulation of emotion. So it is the feeling side of intelligence. A good IQ and a scholastic record is not enough to be successful in life. You may find that many people who are academically talented but are unsuccessful in their own life. They experience this problem in family, workplace, interpersonal areas, so many relationships. What do they exactly lack? Some psychologists believe that the source of their difficulty may be lack of emotional intelligence. This concept was given by, very important to remember, EQ was proposed by Salovey and Mayer. These are the two people who proposed EQ. They considered emotional intelligence as the ability to monitor one's own and others' emotions. So we have another definition of intelligence, which is much more accurate than what this is. This is right, but if you write that is a better explanation. There's no other explanation needed if you write that explanation. I'll be mentioning it here. A better description after writing this would be this one. They said it is the ability to monitor one's own and others' emotions. To discriminate among them. We know what discriminate means. To differentiate among them. And to use the information to guide one's own thinking and action. So one's thinking and actions. So what we know is, what they define it as, it is the ability to monitor one's own and others' emotions, not just your own but others' emotion, to discriminate among them, to understand which is good, which is bad. Like for example, you are talking to a client and you are the manager. If you see that the client is not showing positive feelings towards your product, you change the way you're speaking. You're noticing their emotions, you're discriminating between the positive and negative feelings among them, and you're using the information of these to guide your actions, appraising your product even more, saying the better sides of it, and saying why it will match the client. That will make the client have a positive thought about it. So not only just IQ, but EQ is very very important. Next, EQ is used to express emotional intelligence in the same way as IQ is used to express intelligence. So what we know, EQ is used just as the way IQ is made. But this is emotional part of it, and this is the intelligence part of it. The feeling side, the intellectual side. Alright. In simple terms, emotional intelligence refers to the ability to process emotional information accurately and efficiently. Emotional intelligence is receiving increasing attention of educators for dealing with students who are affected by stresses and challenges of outside worlds. So in today's world, children who are affected by stresses and challenges of the outside world, they are being checked by the emotional intelligence, and they are more helpful to, if they have emotional intelligence, it'll help them deal with their lives. So these children, they're taught how to have emotional intelligence. Programs are aimed at improving the students' emotional intelligence, having beneficial effects on their academic achievement. So, this is just saying about how the academic achievement is helped if you have EQ also along with IQ. This encourages cooperative behavior and reduces their antisocial activities. This part of the question will be coming a lot of times. It's like a short question. It'll come. Do you think EQ, do you think just IQ is enough, or does a person also have to have EQ? Or sometimes they may ask, they may give it as a case study, like Rajesh has high IQ, but he's still not successful in life. Suggest why, or explain why. You will have to explain that because he needs EQ, and then give examples as much as possible about how IQ, just having intelligence but being rude, not having the sense of understanding others' emotions, will not help you succeed. For example, if a president is just behind the amount of knowledge he has, and he's not caring about the people around, he's not looking at his own people. Will people like him? Will they elect him again? Never, of course. If he has EQ, he feels for the people, he understands their emotion, he thinks in the effective way, then these two coming together will make a person successful. You have to explain all of that, which is very important. And then there's this important part that you have to mention, which is characteristics of emotionally intelligent person. This is very, very important. Alright. So, what are the characteristics? They perceive and are sensitive. Sensitive to feelings, and emotions. Very simple to understand. If you know the definition, this is very easy to write. They are sensitive to various types of emotions, like noticing their body language, voice tone. So we write noticing body language, body language, then their voice and tone, facial expressions, etc. So you can just explain this in these points. Then they can relate to others' emotions. They can understand the influence of the nature and intensity of our emotions, so they can understand the intensity of powerful influence of nature of emotion. So they understand how much power the emotion and the nature of our emotions can have in a relationship, in a communication, anything. Then control and regulate their emotions and expressions according to situations. So emotions and expressions. That is it for EQ. Now we're going to an important part, which is special abilities. Special abilities, which includes two parts, which is aptitude and interest. We'll be learning that soon. Next, we have special abilities, which includes two subdivisions, aptitude and interest. We all know a basic understanding of these both. Interest is where we preferably choose if we're given an option. Aptitude is what we're good at. So we'll be discussing that in detail. We'll be asked about it too in exam, and then we will go into this some specific, important battery of tests. As I said before, battery of tests means a group of tests that help determine or find something. So we're going to understand that, starting with aptitude. Firstly, aptitude is refers to the special abilities in particular field. So let's just define first. It is the special ability in particular field in particular field of activity. Next, it is a combination of characteristics that indicates the individual's capacity to acquire some specific knowledge. So it indicates the capacity of an individual to acquire specific skill or after training. Okay, these are the three important points, and then we assess aptitude with the help of selected tests. The knowledge of aptitude can help us predict individuals' future performance. Help us predict individuals' future performance. Psychologists often found that people with similar intelligence differed widely in acquiring certain knowledge or skill. So, intelligence does not mean you have a good aptitude in acquiring a particular skill. We may observe in our classes that there are certain areas in which some intelligent students do not do well. When you have a problem in mathematics, you may turn to, for example, Aman for help. Then, if you have some difficulties in deciding what will happen in annual function, you will go to John for help. And then if you may have problems with your bike, you might go to Rajesh for help. So there are different people with different intelligence, and for example, if John is very good at doing a particular thing, that doesn't mean he'll be good at doing another thing also. That's different for each people, even if they're intelligent. In order to be successful in a particular field, a person must have both aptitude and interest. This is a very important point. In order to be successful in life, there are questions that will come as case study under this line also. In order to be successful in life, sometimes they might just say this line to you and you have to explain why. Justify and explain why. Okay. A person must have both aptitude and interest. Not just one will help, because aptitude is your ability to do something. Interest is how whether you like it. If you don't like it, you won't do as well as you would do if you had interest in it. Alright, now we'll go to the topic of interest. Interest is a preference, as I said, so we'll first start defining it. Preference for a particular activity, for a particular activity. So this is a preference. This is the potentiality. It is the potentiality to perform an activity. So this one is the preference for doing that activity, and this one is the potentiality, how well you can do that activity. Alright, now again back to this. A person may be interested in a particular job or activity but may not have the aptitude for it. This is why this line makes sense. So if you write this line, if you write that down. Similarly, a person may have the potentiality for performing a job but may not be interested in doing that In both the cases, the outcome will not be satisfactory. A student with high mechanical aptitude and strong interest in engineering is more likely to be successful in mechanical engineering. That's very clear. But if it's the opposite, that person will not be able to do well in engineering. For interest, you can write just this much, and for aptitude, you can write these, and then write this line and explain just what I said just now. Next, we have aptitude tests. As I said, the battery of tests under aptitude. So, aptitude tests. So, there are numerous aptitude tests. They're available in two forms. There are independent aptitude tests, which means the specialized aptitude test, and there are multiple aptitude tests, like general aptitude tests. So again, this is of two types. Here we have independent or specialized tests. Specialized tests for a particular field, like that. Specialized tests. Then we have multiple or general test. General test. Alright, so we'll have some tests written under these to write that down in exam as well. So under aptitude, individual aptitude test, there is clerical aptitude test, clerical aptitude, mechanical aptitude. Mechanical aptitude, you need to learn these, but it's not that common of a question, but better to remember these, at least some of these. Numerical aptitude, then typing aptitude. As you can already understand, clerical, then mechanical is machinery, numerical is numericals, and typing. I'm sorry, I wrote typical. Typing aptitude. Typing aptitude. These are independent aptitude tests. Now we go to multiple aptitude tests. They are the ones which are present in test batteries, which means they measure aptitude in several separate but homogeneous areas. Homogeneous means same areas. So several tests for measuring a small thing or one same thing. So there is this is the most important. They'll ask you to name some multiple tests, multiple aptitude tests or general aptitude tests. So this comes sometimes it comes as MCQs. So differential aptitude test, which is that. Then we have general aptitude test battery. General aptitude. Sometimes you can also write this as short form for this part. General aptitude test battery. GATB. Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. Better to learn the short forms of this. Vocational Aptitude Battery. Aptitude Battery, which is ASWAB. These are some well-known test batteries. Now that is the most commonly used one in educational settings, which we'll be studying separately again. The most common one in educational settings has 8 independent subtests. So there are 8 subtests under this. The most important for educational settings. So right, educational settings. What comes under this? So this might come as questions, but it's not a very sure question all the time. So but this is easy to remember, as I said before. Verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning. We learned this previously. Similar stuff again and again, but there'll be a little bit difference. Like some were 6, some were 7, and some are 8. You need to remember which ones are though. Abstract reasoning. Hope it's coming. Alright, abstract reasoning. And then we have clerical speed and accuracy. Clerical speed and accuracy. Then we have the fifth one, which is the mechanical reasoning. Mechanical reasoning. Then we have sixth one, which is space relations. Space relations. You do not need to write all of these. If you wish, you can write at it as differential aptitude test is the most common one. It is used in educational settings. Has 8 subtests, and it has 8 subtests such as verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, whatever you remember, rather than done and write, etc. That also works. Then you have space relations. Space relations. Then the seventh one, which is spellings. And then the eighth one, which is language usage. So these are the 8 aptitude tests under multiple aptitude tests. Besides this, I already said how to write these questions. Besides this, there is also tests made in Indian adaptations of the same one. So we need to remember who it is. It might come as MCQs. J.M. Ojha. He developed Indian version of that differential aptitude test. Several other aptitude tests have been developed in India for measuring scientific, scholastic, literary, critical, and teaching aptitude. So we already saw before that there were some more tests that were changed to Indian version for betterment and for usage in India. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be talking about creativity and its influence on intelligence. See you there.